The worst decisions always start with a phone call at dinner time. I was just settling in with my sad but sensible microwave meal when Sarah's name lit up my screen, along with that photo of her and Diego at the beach from last summer. I almost let it go to voicemail. Almost. "Malia, please don't hang up," she sobbed before I could even say hello. "I don't know what else to do. I'm Malia, the responsible sister, the one who never needed bailing out, never caused drama, and always had her life together. At least that's what everyone said when they needed something from me." "What's wrong?" I asked, already feeling that familiar knot in my stomach. "Is Diego okay?" "We're going to be homeless," Sarah choked out. "The bank won't approve my mortgage without a cosigner. They're saying my income isn't stable enough, but I've been at this job for 8 months now. Diego and I will have to leave by the end of the month if I can't get approved." I set down my fork, dinner forgotten. "Sarah, you know co-signing is a huge responsibility. If anything happens—" I know, she cut in. "But it's just until I can refinance in a year. Please, Mal. Diego's finally settled in his new school, made friends. I can't put him through another move, not after everything with Mark." My phone buzzed, a text from Madeline. "Don't you dare answer that call. I know it's her." "The payments would be less than what I'm paying in rent now," Sarah continued. "I've done all the math. I just need your signature, that's all. Please don't make me beg." But she was begging. She always did. And it always worked. "Let me think about it," I said. "Send me the details first." "There's no time," she insisted. "The seller's giving me until tomorrow to secure financing. Please, can we meet? I have all the paperwork ready." I glanced at my laptop, where my own carefully planned budget spreadsheet was open. The emergency fund I'd built over 3 years of careful saving stared back at me. "Where's the house?" "It's this cute little place in Riverside. Nothing fancy, just perfect for me and Diego. 2 bedrooms, small yard. Please, Mal, I wouldn't ask if I wasn't desperate." An hour later, Sarah was at my door with Diego in tow, manila envelope clutched to her chest. Diego's big brown eyes looked up at me hopefully as he hugged my waist. "Aunt Malia, Mom says we might get to have a real house," he said, "with a backyard and everything." Sarah spread the papers across my kitchen table, pointing out numbers and terms I already understood better than she did. It's literally what I teach for a living. But something felt off about the urgency, the pressure. My phone buzzed again. Madeline. Whatever she's asking, the answer is no. I watched Diego sitting on my couch, homework spread out beside him, looking so much smaller than his 10 years. I thought about him changing schools again, losing more stability. "Where do I sign?" I heard myself say. Sarah's eyes welled up with tears as she pointed to the lines. "You're saving us, Mal. I'll never forget this." Later that night, after they left, I decided to review the copies of the paperwork more carefully. That's when I saw it. The property address, not Riverside, Beachview Estates. My hands shook as I pulled up the listing online. 3 bedrooms, ocean views, luxury finishes throughout. Listed at nearly twice the amount Sarah had told me about. My phone buzzed one final time. Madeline again. "Tell me you didn't." I stared at the screen, then at the papers, then at my own signature binding me to my sister's lies. Again. "I did," I texted back, "but this time is different." "That's what you said last time," Madeline replied instantly. "And the time before that." She was right. But something inside me had shifted. Maybe it was the casual way Sarah had lied about the house. Maybe it was Diego's hopeful face being used as emotional ammunition. Or maybe, just maybe, I'd finally had enough of being the responsible one who always paid the price for my sister's dreams. I picked up my phone and took a picture of the real estate listing. Then I opened my banking app and looked at my emergency fund one last time. I had a feeling I'd be needing it soon. What I didn't know then was just how expensive karma could be, for both of us. 3 weeks after signing those papers, I was working late at the community college, trying to squeeze in extra financial literacy workshops to pad my savings. The irony wasn't lost on me, teaching others about responsible money management while my own financial future dangled by a thread tied to Sarah's promises. My phone pinged. Madeline had sent a link. "You need to see this, now." I clicked, and my stomach dropped. Sarah's Instagram feed filled my screen. There she was, wrapped in the arms of a tall, tan stranger, both of them grinning in front of the Eiffel Tower. The caption read, "When you meet your soulmate and he whisks you away." Spontaneous love, European adventure. The post was dated 4 days ago. My hands trembled as I scrolled through more photos. Sarah in Santorini, the white buildings gleaming behind her. Sarah on a yacht off the Amalfi Coast. Sarah and the mystery man, tagged as Graham Lewis, sharing wine in Tuscany. My phone rang. Madeline. "Before you say anything," she started, "I only found this because Diego's dad Mark called me looking for Sarah. He was supposed to pick Diego up 3 days ago, but Sarah's mom said she's away on business." "Business?" I laughed bitterly. "Unless she's conducting meetings from Mediterranean beach clubs, I don't think that's accurate." "There's more," Madeline said quietly. "Check her Facebook stories." I did. There was Sarah, dancing in a trendy Paris nightclub, diamond tennis bracelet glinting on her wrist. "Best gift ever from the best man ever, Graham Lewis, blessed." The timestamp showed it was posted just hours after she'd texted me. "Money's a little tight this month, but I'll make the first mortgage payment. Promise." "I'm coming over," Madeline declared, "with wine, lots of wine." 20 minutes later, we sat on my couch, piecing together Sarah's European adventure timeline through her social media breadcrumbs. "Look at the dates," Madeline pointed out. "She booked these flights barely a week after you co-signed. The money for the down payment probably went to first-class tickets instead," I finished, taking a long sip of wine. "And who knows where she got the rest? New boyfriend, maybe?" My phone lit up with a text from Diego. "Aunt Malia, when is Mom coming home? Grandma won't tell me." My heart cracked. "I don't know, buddy," I typed back. "But I'm here if you need anything." "This ends now," Madeline said, grabbing my laptop. "We're documenting everything. Screenshots, dates, locations. If she's misused those loan funds—" "It's fraud," I whispered, the realization hitting me hard. "She committed mortgage fraud, and I helped her do it." "No," Madeline corrected sharply. "She committed fraud. You were deceived. There's a difference." I pulled up my banking app, checking my savings again, already drained from covering the down payment emergency Sarah had claimed 2 weeks ago. "I can't believe I fell for it. Again." "Stop beating yourself up," Madeline said, still screenshotting Sarah's social media spree. "Start getting even." My phone pinged again, a group chat message from Mom. "Sarah's having the most amazing time. She really needed this break. Isn't it wonderful she's finally found happiness?" I stared at the message, then at the photos of my sister living it up across Europe, while her son wondered when she was coming home. Something cold and hard settled in my chest. "You know what?" I said, reaching for my laptop. "I think it's time I paid a visit to the bank. I still have a friend there who might be interested in these photos." "The ex? Leo?" Madeline raised an eyebrow. "The one who warned you about Sarah's credit history last time?" "The very same." I started composing an email. "He's a mortgage officer now, and I think he'd be very interested to know how his bank's money is being spent on French nightclubs and Italian yachts." "Malia," Madeline said slowly, "are you sure? This could destroy her." I thought about Diego's text, about my drained savings, about years of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who always had to fix everything. "She destroyed herself," I replied, attaching the first batch of photos to the email. "I'm just making sure she can't take me down with her this time." As I hit send, another notification popped up. Sarah had just posted a new photo. "Living my best life. Next stop, Monaco. Chiron blessed, Chira no regrets." No regrets, I muttered, opening my email again. We'll see about that. Leo hadn't changed much in 7 years. Same warm brown eyes, same habit of running his hand through his hair when he was thinking. The only difference was the wedding ring I spotted as he shuffled through papers on his desk. So, he said, glancing up at me, you want to know about interest rate policies? Actually, I took a deep breath. I need to talk about my sister Sarah's mortgage, the one I co-signed. His expression shifted instantly. Malia, I know what you're thinking, I cut in. You warned me about her credit history years ago. I should have listened. That's not. He stopped, sighing. Look, as your ex, I want to say, I told you so. But as a mortgage officer, I need to know what's wrong. I pulled out my phone and showed him the photos. His eyebrows rose higher with each swipe. These are all from the past 2 weeks? He asked, leaning forward. After the loan disbursement? Yes, and there's more. I opened my email. She claimed the house was in Riverside, showed me paperwork for a modest 2-bedroom, but the actual property is in Beachview Estates. Leo's professional demeanor cracked. Jesus, Malia, that's not just a discrepancy. That's deliberate misrepresentation. I know, and I have proof she doctored the paperwork she showed me before I signed. I pulled out the documents. The question is, what can I do about it? He stood up, closed his office door, and sat back down. Officially, I need to tell you to contact our fraud department. Unofficially, he lowered his voice. Let me check something first. While Leo typed at his computer, my phone buzzed. A text from Diego. Aunt Malia, can you help me with my math homework? Grandma doesn't understand fractions. Of course, buddy, I replied, my heart aching. I'll video call you in an hour. Found it, Leo said suddenly. Sarah's income verification. Something's not right. These consulting fees she claimed? He turned the screen toward me. They're from a company that didn't exist when these payments were supposedly made. What does that mean? It means, he said carefully, that if someone were to flag these inconsistencies, it would trigger an automatic investigation. My phone pinged again. Sarah had posted another photo. Monte Carlo dreams. Thanks for the casino tips, Graham Lewis. Winning streak. I showed Leo the post. She's gambling with loan money while her son stays with our mother. Malia, Leo leaned forward, his voice gentle. If I flag this for review, it opens a whole investigation. It could affect Diego, too. Are you sure you want to? Check my tablet, I interrupted, pulling it from my bag. Sarah's email is still logged in from when she used it last month. Look at these wire transfers. Leo scrolled through the documents, his frown deepening. These transfers, they're structured to avoid reporting requirements. And this Graham Lewis person she's with? His name's coming up in some concerning patterns. What do you mean? I can't say much, but... He hesitated. He's been involved in several failed investment schemes. Nothing proven, but... My phone lit up with a family group chat message. Mom. Sarah says she's extending her trip another week. Isn't it wonderful she's found someone who treats her like the princess she is? I felt something snap inside me. What do you need from me to start an investigation? Just an official statement of concern from you as co-signer, Leo said. But Malia, think carefully. This could destroy her, I finished. Maybe it should. She's been destroying everyone else for years. Leo nodded slowly, then picked up his desk phone. Let me make a call. While he spoke quietly into the phone, I checked my banking app again. The emergency fund I'd spent years building was almost gone, all because I'd believed Sarah one last time. My tablet pinged, an email notification from Sarah to Graham. Baby, the bank keeps calling about income verification. What should I do? Can you help me make those documents look better like last time? I wordlessly turned the tablet toward Leo, who was just hanging up the phone. His eyes widened as he read. He shook his head. That's explicit admission of intent to defraud. So what happens now? Now? He started typing rapidly. Now I have to file an official report. The bank will launch a full investigation. They'll freeze the loan, possibly the property. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Sarah. Hey sis, having the most amazing time. Quick favor, can you send me $2,000 just until my next consulting check comes in? You're the best. I looked at Leo, then at the evidence spread across his desk, then at my sister's smiling face in her casino photos. Do it, I said quietly. File the report. As Leo reached for the forms, I felt no satisfaction, no triumph, just a bone-deep weariness, and the certainty that sometimes doing the right thing feels exactly like revenge. Are you absolutely sure about this? Madeline asked, watching me organize the evidence into folders on my laptop. Once you hit send, there's no going back. I was sitting cross-legged on my living room floor, surrounded by printed screenshots and bank statements. The email to the fraud department was open on my screen, cursor blinking on the send button. Look at this, I said, holding up my phone. Another Instagram post from Sarah. When he surprises you with a shopping spree at Chanel. Blessed Chiracha spoiled rotten. That bag costs more than the monthly mortgage payment she skipped, Madeline noted, peering at the photo. My phone rang. Mom's name flashed on the screen. Don't answer it, Madeline warned. I did anyway. Hi, Mom. Malia, have you spoken to Sarah lately? Her voice was sharp with worry. The bank called her about some review of her loan application. She's very upset. Is she? I kept my voice neutral. That's interesting, considering she's been posting about shopping sprees in Monaco. Don't be bitter, dear. She's finally happy. And Graham is such a wonderful man. So generous. Mom, I cut in, has she told you where Diego is? A pause. He's perfectly fine with me. Sarah needed a break. A break? I stood up, pacing. She abandoned her son to party across Europe with a man she barely knows, using money she got through fraud. Fraud? Mom's voice went cold. What are you talking about? What did you do? What did I do? I laughed. Check your precious daughter's social media. Look at the dates. Look at where she's spending money that was supposed to be for Diego's home. You're just jealous, Mom snapped. You always have been, ever since we had to use your college fund to help Sarah after her accident. Wait, what? I stopped pacing. What college fund? The line went silent. Mom? What college fund? I shouldn't have mentioned that. It was a long time ago. Tell me, she sighed. Your father set aside money for both of you. When Sarah had her car accident senior year, she needed it more than you did. You were already getting scholarships. My hands shook as I opened another folder on my laptop. That's why Dad's inheritance letter mentioned an adjusted distribution, isn't it? She'd already taken my share. Malia, I hung up. What college fund? Madeline asked quietly. Instead of answering, I turned to my laptop and started typing. To whom it may concern, I am writing to report suspected mortgage fraud regarding loan 84392. I attached every screenshot, every bank statement, every piece of evidence I'd gathered. Then I added one final paragraph. The attached social media posts demonstrate that the borrower, Sarah Murphy, is currently using loan funds for international travel and luxury purchases, while the mortgage property remains vacant. Furthermore, I have evidence of intentional misrepresentation of income and deliberate manipulation of loan documents. My phone buzzed with texts. Mom, please don't do anything rash. Sarah, the bank keeps calling. What's going on? Diego, Aunt Malia, when is Mom coming home? I added the email exchanges between Sarah and Graham about doctoring documents, then attached the wire transfer records. Malia, Madeline said softly, this will destroy her credit, her financial future. She destroyed mine first, I replied, thinking of the college fund I never knew about. Multiple times. I hit send. Within minutes, my phone exploded. Sarah, they're freezing the loan. What did you do? Mom, Answer your phone right now. Sarah. Please tell me you didn't report anything. I can explain everything. Mom. How could you do this to your sister? I turned off my phone and opened my banking app one last time. My savings were almost gone, but my credit was still intact, for now. I had just enough left to hire a lawyer. What's next? Madeline asked. I pulled out a business card Leo had given me. Now I call this attorney who specializes in mortgage fraud cases. Leo said she can help protect me as a co-signer who was deceived. And Sarah? I looked at the printed Instagram photos spread across my floor. My sister living her best life, while her son did fractions with his grandmother. Sarah gets to learn what consequences feel like, I said, picking up my phone to make the call. For once in her life, she gets to face reality. As I dialed the attorney's number, my tablet pinged with one final email notification. Sarah to Graham. Baby, everything's falling apart. What do we do? His response came seconds later. Sorry, babe. Can't help. Got my own problems. Good luck. Karma, it seemed, was right on schedule. The door to my apartment burst open without warning. Sarah stood there, mascara streaked down her face, still wearing designer clothes from her European adventure. How could you? She screamed. My own sister! Mom appeared behind her, arms crossed. We need to talk, Malia, now. I stayed seated at my kitchen table, keeping my voice steady. Did you enjoy Monaco, Sarah? The shopping sprees? The yacht parties? You don't understand, Sarah sobbed, dropping into a chair. Graham promised to help with the payments. He said he had investments. Where is Graham now? I asked quietly. Sarah's face crumpled. He's not answering my calls. Of course he isn't, I said. Because he never had any money, did he? Leo checked. He's been involved in schemes like this before. Leo? Mom cut in. You went to your ex about this instead of coming to family? I laughed bitterly. Family? Like when you and Sarah went to my college fund without telling me? Mom paled. Sarah looked confused. That was different, Mom stammered. Sarah always needs. I stood up, my calm finally breaking. She always needs, and I'm always expected to give. Well, guess what? I'm done giving. I'll lose everything, Sarah whispered. The house, my credit, the house you lied about, the credit you were willing to destroy mine for. I pulled out my phone. Let's talk about Diego. Sarah flinched. He's been texting me every day, I continued, asking when his mom's coming home, struggling with math homework, missing his friends because he can't have them over to Grandma's house. Don't you dare question my parenting, Sarah snapped. You don't have children. You don't understand. No, you don't understand. I slammed my hand on the table. This isn't about parenting. It's about fraud. It's about theft. It's about years of manipulation and lies. We can fix this, Mom pleaded. Just call the bank, tell them it was a mistake. There's nothing to fix, I said, pulling out a folder. The investigation is already underway. The lawyer says, You got a lawyer? Sarah shrieked. Against your own sister? No, I got a lawyer to protect myself from my sister. There's a difference. My phone buzzed. A text from Madeline. Need backup? Not yet, I typed back. What happens now? Mom asked, her voice small. Now? I opened the folder. Now Sarah explains these wire transfers, and these doctored income statements, and these emails about faking documents. Sarah's face went white. How did you get those? You left your email logged into my tablet. Sloppy, just like everything else. I'll go to jail, Sarah whispered. Probably not, I replied. But you'll face consequences. Real ones, for once. Mom stepped between us. This isn't you, Malia. You're not this cruel. Cruel? I stood up slowly. Was it cruel when Sarah took my college fund? When she lied about the house? When she abandoned her son to party across Europe? I didn't abandon. Save it. I cut her off. Diego's dad called me yesterday. He's filing for full custody. Sarah collapsed into tears. Mom rushed to comfort her, of course. Some things never change. My phone buzzed again. Leo. Bank investigators want to meet tomorrow. You okay? I'm fine, I texted back. Just finishing some family business. Malia, please. Sarah looked up, eyes wet. I'll do anything. Just call off the investigation. That's not how this works, I said. Actions have consequences. Isn't that what you always told Diego? You've ruined everything, Mom burst out. Are you happy now? I looked at them both, my sobbing sister in her expensive clothes, my enabling mother with her willful blindness. For the first time, I felt nothing but pity. No, Mom, I'm not happy, but I'm done being the family ATM, done being the responsible one who pays for everyone else's mistakes. So what now? Sarah asked quietly. Now? I gathered my documents. Now I have a meeting with bank investigators tomorrow, then a lawyer, then probably more meetings. And me? You? I paused at my bedroom door. You get to grow up, finally. This will tear the family apart, Mom said. I turned back one last time. No, Mom, Sarah's lies did that. I'm just done pretending they didn't. As I closed my door, I heard Sarah's phone ping. Her sob told me Graham had probably just blocked her number. My own phone lit up with a text from Diego. Aunt Malia, Dad says I'm staying with him for a while. Is Mom in trouble? I stared at the message, thinking carefully before replying. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, buddy, but I'll always be here for you. It wasn't a lie. It wasn't even revenge anymore. It was just, finally, the truth. The bank's conference room felt colder than it needed to be. I sat between my lawyer, Patricia, and Leo, facing 3 stern-faced investigators. On the table between us lay a stack of documents that told the story of my sister's deception in black and white. These consulting invoices, the lead investigator said, tapping a paper, were created using templates from a company that didn't exist until 3 months after the dates listed. Graham helped me with those. Sarah's voice crackled through the speakerphone. She'd refused to fly back for the meeting. He said it was normal, that everyone does it. Ms. Murphy, Patricia interrupted, I advise you not to continue that line of explanation. Admitting to knowingly falsifying loan documents, I just needed a home for my son. Sarah's voice broke. The female investigator raised an eyebrow. Is that why you spent $23,000 at luxury retailers in Paris 2 weeks after the loan disbursement? Silence from the speakerphone. And these wire transfers, the third investigator added, appear to be structured specifically to avoid reporting requirements. Can you explain that? More silence. My phone vibrated. A text from Mom. The bank is seizing Sarah's accounts. How could you let this happen? I turned my phone face down as Leo slid another document across the table. We've also discovered something concerning about the initial inheritance distribution, he said quietly. My head snapped up. What? The lead investigator picked up a paper. It appears there was a joint savings account established by your father before his death. According to these records, Sarah withdrew $15,000 from it in 2018 using a power of attorney document that, he paused, frowning, appears to have been notarized after your father's death. The room spun. What are you saying? The signature date on the power of attorney is 3 weeks after your father passed away, Leo explained gently. It's not valid, which means the withdrawal was theft, Patricia finished, plain and simple. The speakerphone crackled. I needed that money. Mom said it was okay. Mom knew? My voice came out strangled. She signed as the witness, the female investigator confirmed, showing me the document. My phone buzzed again. Mom, it was for her good. She needed help after her accident. You were always the strong one. I've seen enough, Patricia said, standing. My client was clearly deceived on multiple fronts. We'll be pursuing full dissociation from the fraudulent loan and pressing charges for the inheritance theft. No! Sarah's voice broke through. Malia, please, I'll pay it back. With what money? I asked quietly. The money you spent in Monaco? Or the money you stole from me while Dad was dying? Leo touched my arm gently. There's more. The investigators laid out the full scope of Sarah's deception. Faked pay stubs, forged employer letters, even a fictitious rental history. All crafted with Graham's help, all designed to secure a loan she could never repay. Where is Graham now? I asked. We've flagged his details for the relevant authorities, the lead investigator said diplomatically. He appears to have done this before. My phone lit up with a call from Diego's dad. I excused myself to answer it. Malia, Diego's asking about visiting Sarah this weekend, but I can't reach her or your mom. Mark, I said carefully, there's something you should know. When I returned to the conference room, Patricia was outlining next steps. The bank will foreclose on the property, she explained. Given the evidence of fraud, they'll pursue full recovery of funds. Your liability as co-signer should be cleared once the investigation concludes. And Sarah? Leo looked down at his papers. The bank is required to report this to federal authorities. Given the amount involved and the deliberate nature of the fraud, she's looking at serious consequences, Patricia finished, both civil and potentially criminal. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Sarah. I hope you're happy. You've destroyed everything. I thought about the inheritance I never knew existed. About Diego doing homework at my kitchen table while his mother posted yacht photos. About years of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who always had to fix everything. No, I typed back. You destroyed everything. I just stopped covering for you. The lead investigator cleared his throat. Ms. Murphy, we'll need you to sign these statements. As I signed paper after paper, each one documenting another piece of Sarah's deception, I felt no triumph, just a bone-deep exhaustion and the weight of years of lies finally coming to light. What happens now? I asked Patricia as we left the bank. She gave me a measured look. Now we make sure justice is served for both the fraud and the theft. And Sarah? Sarah, Patricia said firmly, gets to learn that karma doesn't accept designer handbags as payment. The bank's official letter arrived on a Tuesday. 10 days. That's all Sarah had to provide documentation or face repossession and legal prosecution. I hadn't even finished reading it when my doorbell rang. Sarah stood there, mascara running, clutching a stack of papers. Gone were the designer clothes and perfectly styled hair. She looked smaller somehow, broken. They're going to arrest me, she choked out, pushing past me into the apartment. The bank, the FBI, everyone's investigating. Graham's gone, his phone's disconnected. I can't even access my accounts. Sit down, I said quietly. You have to help me, she pleaded, dropping onto my couch. Tell them you made a mistake. Tell them what, Sarah? I opened my laptop. That these photos of you gambling in Monaco are fake? That these wire transfers are forged? That Dad's power of attorney wasn't backdated? She flinched at each accusation. I was going to pay it all back. Graham had a plan. Graham had a history of fraud, I cut in. Leo found 6 other cases where he did exactly this. He used you, Sarah, just like you used me. That's not fair. I needed... You always need. I pulled up the inheritance documents. Look at these. Really look at them. You and Mom forged Dad's signature while he was dying. You stole my inheritance while I was planning his funeral. Sarah's face crumpled. Mom said it was okay. She said you'd understand. Understand what? That my sister and mother conspired to steal from me? That you abandoned your son to party across Europe with a con man? Don't bring Diego into this. Why not? You did when you used him to manipulate me into co-signing. We'll be homeless, Malia. Think of Diego. I mimicked her desperate plea from that night. I'm his mother. No, a new voice said from the doorway. Right now you're a fraud suspect who abandoned her child. We both turned. Mark stood there with Diego, who looked smaller than his 10 years. Mark, Sarah stammered, I can explain. Save it for the judge, he said firmly. I filed for emergency custody this morning. Diego stepped forward, his voice quiet. Mom, why did you leave me? Sarah reached for him, but he backed away. Baby, I didn't leave you. I just needed a break. A break? I pulled up her Instagram. Here's you at the Eiffel Tower. Here's your new Chanel bag. Here's you on a yacht while your son wondered why his mom disappeared. Diego, please, Sarah begged. Tell them I'm a good mother. But Diego just stared at the floor, clutching his backpack. We should go, Mark said gently. Diego, say goodbye to your aunt. Diego hugged me tight. Thanks for helping with fractions, he whispered. After they left, Sarah collapsed into tears. What am I going to do? They're taking everything. No, Sarah, you took everything. From me, from Diego, from everyone who trusted you. Please, she sobbed. One more chance. I'll do anything. I walked to my desk and pulled out an envelope. Here. She opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a savings bond in Diego's name. That's what's left of my emergency fund, I said quietly. Not for you, for him. For college, or whatever he needs, something you can't touch. You're really not going to help me? I am helping you, I replied, by finally letting you face consequences. My phone buzzed, a text from Leo. FBI wants to interview Sarah tomorrow. Is she back in town? Sarah's phone chimed at the same moment, probably the same message from the bank. She stood up, suddenly angry. You've ruined my life, my own sister. No, I said firmly. You ruined your life. I just stopped enabling it. Mom was right. You're jealous. You've always been jealous of me. I laughed, a hollow sound. Jealous of what? Your fraud charges? Your abandoned child? Your empty bank accounts? She stormed toward the door, then turned back. When this is all over, don't expect forgiveness. When this is all over, I replied, don't expect me to care. The door slammed behind her. My phone buzzed again. Mom. Sarah's hysterical. How could you be so heartless? Mark. Thank you for everything. Diego needs stability right now. Leo. You okay? Want to grab coffee tomorrow? Madeline. Just heard from Sarah. You did the right thing. I looked at the empty savings bond receipt on my desk, then at the family photo still hanging on my wall, taken before the lies, before the theft, before everything fell apart. Sometimes, I typed back to Madeline, doing the right thing feels exactly like losing everything. But as I heard Sarah's car screech away, I realized I hadn't lost everything. I just finally stopped carrying everyone else's losses. The courtroom felt smaller than I expected. Sarah sat at the defendant's table, wearing the same black dress she'd worn to Dad's funeral. Mom wasn't there. She'd stopped speaking to me after Sarah's arrest. The defendant has agreed to the plea arrangement, the prosecutor announced. Full restitution of fraudulently obtained funds, plus the inherited amounts taken through deceptive means. I watched Sarah's shoulders shake as the judge listed the conditions: probation, mandatory financial counseling, supervised visitation with Diego. The word guilty echoed through the chamber when she spoke it. My phone vibrated, a text from Leo. Still on for dinner tonight? Wouldn't miss it, I typed back, smiling slightly. The judge's gavel cracked like thunder. Ms. Murphy, do you understand these terms? Sarah nodded, then turned to look at me. For the first time since this started, I saw something real in her eyes. Not manipulation, not fake tears, just raw understanding. Outside the courthouse, she caught up to me. Malia, wait. I stopped but didn't turn. I found this in Mom's attic, she said, holding out an envelope. It's Dad's real letter about the inheritance, the one I hid. My hands shook as I opened it. Dad's familiar handwriting filled the page. My dearest Malia, you've always been the responsible one, the one who carries everyone else's burdens. Sometimes I wonder if we did you a disservice, expecting so much while asking so little of Sarah. He knew, Sarah said quietly. About everything. About who I really was. Why are you showing me this now? Because, she swallowed hard, because Diego asked me why I never say sorry and mean it. A car pulled up, Mark bringing Diego for the supervised visit. The boy ran to his mother, then stopped, looking uncertainly at me. "It's okay, buddy," I said softly. "Go ahead." As they walked toward the visitation center, my phone buzzed again. A text from Madeline. "Your sister's story is trending in my financial literacy group. People are calling you brave." Brave? Was that what this was? Leo appeared beside me, coffee in hand. "Ready to go?" "Almost." I pulled out my own envelope. "Need to mail this first." It was addressed to Diego, another savings bond, this one from the restitution money. On the card I'd written, "Sometimes doing the right thing is the hardest thing. Love, Aunt Malia." "You're still helping them," Leo observed, "after everything." "No," I corrected him. "I'm helping him. There's a difference." My phone lit up, an email from the community college where I taught financial literacy. "Due to unprecedented interest in your Identifying Financial Abuse seminar, we'd like to expand it to a full course." Leo read over my shoulder. "Looks like some good came from all this." "Maybe," I said, dropping the envelope in the mailbox. "Or maybe it's just karma paying dividends." A final text popped up, from Sarah. "Diego asked if you could help with his science project next week, during my supervised visit, if you want." I showed Leo the message. "What do you think?" "I think," he said carefully, "that sometimes the bravest thing isn't walking away. It's staying to help rebuild, but with better boundaries." I typed back, "Tuesday at 4, bring his textbook." As we walked to the car, I caught a glimpse of Sarah through the visitation center window. She was showing Diego something on paper, her face serious, no trace of her usual performance. He was nodding, actually smiling. "You know what Dad wrote at the end of that letter?" I told Leo. "Sometimes the strongest people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who learn to rise differently." "And have you?" he asked. "Risen differently?" I thought about my drained savings, now slowly rebuilding. About Mom's silence, which felt more honest than her excuses ever had. About Sarah, finally facing reality without an audience. About Diego, learning that love sometimes means letting people face consequences. "I think," I said, taking Leo's hand, "I'm finally standing on my own ground, and that's a different kind of rising." My phone buzzed one last time. A photo from the visitation supervisor, Diego proudly holding up his math test. "A+, thanks, Aunt Malia." I saved the photo, then turned my phone off. Some moments don't need a response. Some victories speak for themselves, and some kinds of karma come not as revenge, but as the quiet satisfaction of finally getting it right. "Coffee?" Leo suggested. "Actually," I smiled, "I think I'm ready for something stronger. It's been quite a day." "It's been quite a life," he corrected. And for the first time in forever, that felt like a good thing.